From the News Channel 5 Network, this is OpenLine.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to OpenLine. I'm Ben Hall. Very good show tonight. We are talking about something that's very important, scams targeting veterans. And unfortunately, there are a lot out there. We have with us two people who can educate us about this topic. Let's introduce them right now. We have Tara Schaefer with AARP Tennessee. Tara, thank you for being with us.
Thanks for having me back.
And once again, yes. And Dr. Glenn Osborne, Managing Director of Elder Veterans Legal Aid Group. Dr. Osborne, thank you for being with us.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
We've talked about this topic, scams, a lot. AARP is doing a lot with this particular topic. We're tonight focusing more on veterans. So we want to hear from you. If you are a veteran, you have seen a scam like this come your way and you perhaps avoided it, and you can illuminate us on that. Or maybe you want to share a story where something like this has happened to you. But I want to ask you, Dr. Osborne, first of all, Elder Veterans Legal Aid Group, what is that?
We're a law firm. Unlike most other law firms, we specialize simply in Title 38 veterans law, veterans disability law. We don't do any elder law. We don't do estate planning, financial planning, wills, trusts, or anything else. Strictly federal law under Title 38.
Okay, so do you see a lot of these things? I mean, how prevalent are these scams targeting veterans?
I've been doing this 20 years. I have never seen it this bad. I have seen it wane and wax over the years. Different changes in the law, different groups that begin to be interested in assisting veterans, quote unquote. It comes, it goes, but on June the 6th of 2012, the Senate Special Committee on Aging held a televised hearing about this. And this is where Senator John Wyden, who's the vice chair of that committee, coined the now infamous phrase pension poachers to describe the people that were doing this. I was naive at that point because I thought, okay, you've got the GAO issuing a devastating report same day. You've got the Senate Special Committee on Aging, you've got the FTC, you've got the VA, and everybody and their brother now is aware of this. And as a knee-jerk reaction, you had both the House and Senate committees on Veterans Affairs almost within 2 weeks of that proposing legislation to prevent this from happening, which, by the way, died. It passed the House with one dissenting vote, got to the Senate and disappeared. About the same time all the scandals in the hospital, so I imagine they were overwhelmed with other matters.
Right.
But the bottom line of it is, I thought, wow, now this is going to go away. We're going to see this fade out. We're going to see all of these bad actors begin to realize that there's a new sheriff in town, the posse's armed, it's going to go away. Counterintuitively, exactly the opposite happened. It was almost as if we've got limited time to do this, so let's go after it. And by the way, the first shot in this thing was fired in the October of 2010 issue of the AARP Bulletin, where they, as a national advocacy organization, were the first to come out and say, this is a scam and it's fraud.
And this is something AARP is really focused on, and we've talked about it a couple of times on this show, but let's give the big picture kind of look at that. I mean, what is AARP doing?
Right. As we've talked about before, we have launched the AARP Fraud Watch Network as a way to not only make yourself aware of the scams and frauds that are happening right around you, but to also be a part of the solution, to report when you feel that someone has come after you, whether for your benefits or whether just for your hard-earned dollars there right at home, in a way to make folks aware of these scams so that hopefully they will stop, and to also just allow people a platform of which they can share with their neighbors and their friends and family and report on this platform. So the Fraud Watch Network is a free resource. If you go to aarp.org/Fraud Watch Network, you can sign up to receive fraud alerts. You can check your state where you're located and see what frauds and scam activities have happened near you. And you can do a little bit more. You can read a little bit more about those activities and maybe some of the outcomes if it has been something that has been prosecuted.
And we'll talk more about that and what AARP is doing, broadly. But as far as veterans, you say you've done this for 20 years. It's now worse than you've ever seen it.
Correct.
Why do you think that is?
Greed, not to put too fine a point on it.
But we've always had greed. What's going on now?
The idea has grown legs. Okay. The genesis of this whole issue is that the VA manages or administers 2 disability programs. One is service-connected disability, which is called compensation. This is for the veterans whose disability is a direct result of something that occurred while they were in active duty. These are the people who say, I'm 20%, 30%, 40% disabled. That's the theory. The legal theory is that if you're 40% disabled, you could only earn 60% of what a non-disabled person could earn. So we're going to compensate you, hence the name of the program, for your loss of earnings because you served your country. It is not means determined. If you suffered for your country while you're on active duty, how much money you've got in the bank makes no difference. The second program, however, is the non-service connected disability pension program, also known inaccurately as aid and attendance. It is a means determined program. Not only do you have to show that you have the prerequisite wartime military service, but you have to demonstrate that you have limited net estate, which is the correlation between your income and your medical expenses on one hand and your assets or the total amount of estate that you would have in checking, savings, CDs, 401ks, IRAs, whatever it may be.
So these 2 programs are being targeted?
Well, only the pension program, because it's the only one of the 2 that is means determined. So the idea is you've got a veteran who may have served in wartime, right? But they have done what any prudent person should do. They've saved, they've built a 401k, they've got substantial assets in the bank, and they've got several $100,000 in a nest egg. VA would say it is reasonable under the law that a portion of your estate should be consumed for your maintenance. In other words, you spend your money first before you start getting our money. So the scam comes in from individuals that would approach that group, and we'll go into more detail how that occurs generally.
Right.
But saying, look, you would be eligible for $2,000 a month tax-free, $1,700 a month tax-free, $1,100 a month tax-free. It's just that you've got too much money. I can help you fix that. We can move that money into a state, presumably, that is sequestered from the VA, that it would not have to be counted. So you create artificial eligibility for a program for near destitute veterans, and you've got people with, $300, $400, $500, $1 million, and I've seen $1 million, hidden in order to get the benefit. It's like driving your Bentley to pick up your food stamps. I mean, it's just, intuitively wrong.
So this is the primary scam affecting veterans right now? Or are there a lot of them out there? Or is this the primary one? Well,
the primary one deals with this particular financial issue because of the people involved in it. The typical people that would be involved in a situation like this would be people whose basic interest in life is estate planning, financial planning, Medicaid planning, as you said before. Under federal law, 38 U.S.C. 5901 to 5902 to be exact. Not that I deal with this every day, but yeah, that's where it is.
That is very specific.
Yeah.
That's great. If you're keeping score at home, there it is.
Put one check about that box. But the point of it is, you cannot charge a brass farthing to represent somebody before the VA. It's against the law. You cannot charge a fee to do it. So the first question you have to ask is, you've got this whole cadre of people who normally in their core business practice are charging $200, $250, $300 or up per hour for legal work or estate planning, or they're people who exist and feed their family on commission sales, insurance, estate planning, financial planning, anything like that. So the first question is, why do you want to do this? Why do you want to help a veteran for free?
Right.
Give away that time.
That's how the veteran should know it is a
litmus test.
Yeah.
Now, that's not to say there aren't people who have a good heart and they want to do it and they want to donate their time. It's just to say that it is an immediate litmus test. The paper's going to turn pink or turn blue, and you should know that it changed color and do something.
And let me ask you, AARP, again, this is a big push for AARP. Scams in general.
Right.
So many so many seniors, but so many people of all ages are being suckered in by these things. Tonight, we're focusing primarily on veterans. Are veterans one of the largest groups that are seeing this, fallen victim to this?
It's one of those groups that we have an increasing number of people who have had service time, and as Glenn said, they may be disabled by their service, but then as they start to age, they may have other issues that start to make them think about the future in their long-term care planning, for example, and they're looking at ways to maximize their resources, and that's the main issue that we're all looking at when we are saying, how do I save $1 and protect what I have? And so we often fall victim, unfortunately, at times when we are a little bit vulnerable, and we are looking for a really good deal and a good value. And our rule of thumb is, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. You don't often get quality legal services for free, unfortunately. So that's just one example.
That's one example,
of
and
many.
that's a good one. And there are many, and we're going to start going over them. We also want to hear from you. There's the number, 737-PLUS, 737-7587. If you have an example of somebody, a friend maybe, that experienced something like this, or you yourself, give us a call. We'll take a break. We'll be back right after this.